Today's magic number is 13. That would be the amount of offensive rebounds that the Sacramento Kings allowed in the third quarter alone in their last game of the season. A magical season, borderline historic. At least for my lifetime, I have not once witnessed with these two eyes this kind of competency that we have seen from the Sacramento Kings all year long. I believe this was a team that lost their first 4 games of the season, and we've seen the Kings have borderline hot starts in recent years. We've seen them generate a level of hope in their team, but it was real. And regardless of what the title of this video might suggest, what it might imply about this team, this is the absolute opposite of a failure. This was a series that the Kings were very much not favored to win, major underdogs going in, and especially after Game 5. This was a team that battled to the end. This was a team that should not be ashamed of where they ended up, because let's be honest, going into this series, besides Davion Mitchell, I think maybe that's the one thing that you can take away from Mike Brown this season. Where is Davion Mitchell? If you don't have Davion Mitchell on the court, you do not have a good matchup in general for Steph Curry. De'Aaron Fox is capable, but asking a guy to chase this man around all game and then produce your entire offense, especially when his quote-unquote number 2 is playing the way that he is, that's a lot. And the Warriors win this game, the Kings lose this game because of 2 guys that play for the Golden State Warriors. Stephen Curry, of course, one of his best games of his career, and obviously Kevon Looney, who made all of the difference. I seen a stat: most offensive rebounds in a playoff series in the last 20 years. Domantas Sabonis led the league in rebounding this year. He got bitched. He got absolutely manhandled, owned, shit on, bodied, bullied, what have you. And it kind of got worse as the series went on. Both of these 5 men in this series had their share of foul trouble. But the fact that you get outplayed as an All-NBA third team to be, he will make the All-NBA third team, by Kevon Looney. No disrespect to Kevon Looney. I think he's really making a name for himself. At this point, his value has never been higher, and he's getting paid pennies. But the way that he can be used in an offense, with shooters running around as a facilitator, and of course, just crashing the glass, something he has absolutely perfected, and we have seen that in this series. Defense is legit. Obviously stopped Domantas Sabonis from being much of a factor on the offensive end after this guy. Just a phenomenal season. He's getting the Joker comparisons because of the way that he can facilitate an offense, because of the way that he can get guys the ball off cuts, pin downs, any type of action that runs through him in the half court, and then even in transition as a ball handler, pushing the rock as a center. He was doing some superbly unique stuff throughout the season. Absolutely a catalyst for why the Kings did have the number 1 offense in the league. They played through him a lot of the time. But when you can take away all of that by just letting him shoot whatever he wants, making him play bully ball, and just chuck bricks at the rim from 4 feet out, first of all, it looks really bad. Like the aesthetic of his offensive game, he's just banging into guys. Sometimes he'll hit it because he's strong, he can handle the ball, he can kind of maneuver himself, but he just doesn't have moves. A little left shoulder, right shoulder, spin on the block, couple bumps, and there's not much else in the arsenal. And so we see for a guy whose offensive game often requires him to bully a defender, when you are met with that same physicality, when they're not calling the fouls, you can just let all that go. It's a lot harder to make those shots, and we saw that. And this is not a guy with a good track record of NBA playoff basketball already. This is supposed to be one of your star guys. He got bullied. That's the way the season ends. But that being said, De'Aaron Fox, he didn't play a good game either. We can give him a pass. He has been electric throughout this series and clearly just exhausted, burnt out, not ready. You know, it's his first Game 7. You're playing the defending champs after all. There's so much energy in this building, and this is the first actually bad game for De'Aaron Fox, start to finish. He's a young player. We have anointed him so quickly. We have seen the growth so quickly and making a name for himself on a major stage so quickly after not sniffing the playoffs his whole career. What a step. And before I end off on the Kings, Malik Monk, superb series, great season. I love the growth from being a scoring volume shooter type spark plug guy to a complete basketball player on both ends of the floor, just a general playmaker, inspires confidence, rises to the occasion. He was the second best player for Sacramento in this series. Shout out to him. Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors. This was one of the best Steph games I have ever seen. I'm not going to say it's the best one, I will say it's top 2. How about that? I don't know. It's hard to compare regular season versus playoffs. I've always said that game in the finals last year, game 4, is my favorite in terms of degree of difficulty and opponent, what he has to do, putting the team on his back, doing it by himself. I mean, this game certainly resembled that, and he scored more in this game, but he's playing against the Kings, not the Celtics. He is on the road in both cases, but he got a lot of shots up, and no knock against him. He had to empty the clip. I was saying that before the game. You can't rely on these guys for the most part. If Klay gets hot, it can happen. He had a great game in that game 5 on the road, but generally Klay is a home game player. Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson stunk it up, and Jordan Poole has been doing that shit all series. He's been doing it all year. And sidebar, Draymond Green knocked the talent out of that man and ruined at least his season. And if they don't split this team up, they don't give that guy a change of scenery or something, it might really have stunted his career growth. And I'm dead serious about this. This is not the same Jordan Poole as last year. I'm ready to make some noise about a dialogue about this whenever you guys are, honestly. But I digress. What he did in game 4 last year of the finals and what he did today, it trumps everything he did with Kevin Durant. It's a lot more difficult when your support guys, maybe they're threats, but they're not delivering. Andrew Wiggins was the closest thing he had to a secondary scorer. He didn't crack 20. This is Steph. He emptied the clip. He did what he had to. It's the Steph we want to see. We want to see him just unleash balls to the wall, whatever it takes. Be greatness. He embodied that. It was a joy to watch. This was a phenomenal basketball game. Energy, electricity, it's through the roof for about 3 quarters until, 13-0 Rebs. 13 of them. Domantas Sabonis is the leading rebounder in the league. I'll leave him alone, though. Listen, he had a great year. He had his best season of his career. You got to deliver when it counts. Kings have a lot to build on. They should be proud of themselves. Seriously. But it's the defending champs. That's going to do it. Let me know what you guys think about the NBA playoffs, baby. This is what I'm talking about. That's going to do it. Peace.